squad might have killed a lot of locusts today, Lieutenant. But this war is only just begun. Our survival depends on one thing. Gears follow orders. But I look at you and I don't see a gear. I see something more dangerous. I see a hero. Well, congratulations, hero. Millions of citizens you've sworn to protect might die because of what you did today. I hereby charge Kilo Squad with desertion, cowardice, trespassing, the theft of experimental military technology, and treason. Does that sound about right to you, Lieutenant Baird?
Hi, what's up guys, Arak here. I hope you enjoyed that. That was the very dramatic extended trailer which was showcased as part of Microsoft's E3 exhibition, and if you want to watch that on the official channel, links down below. And also if you want to catch the rest of E3, or if you want to watch some of the recordings of the E3 that has already been, then the links to that are down below as well. Obviously there's lots of new technologies coming out and things to do with all sorts of things, Halo 4, Call of Duty Black Ops 2, everything, but of course we're interested in Gears. And that was the trailer that was shown at E3. As a little side note, if you want to pick up some of these sexy Baird avatar goggles, like you can see on my little avatar here, then all you have to do is share the extended trailer link on Facebook, and the link to that's down below. It's a little application, you have to share it, and then you can delete it from your timeline afterwards if you want to, but it'll give you a code, and then you go and input it, and you get some goggles for your avatar in celebration of Gears of War Judgment. Now the point of this video is to basically get everything that we know about Gears of War Judgment, which is Gears of War 4, into one video. After the E3 conference, obviously we should have all the information we're going to have for a while. Unfortunately, we didn't get to see any real gameplay apart from just a tiny little snippet at the end of the trailer. If you go and watch back at the end of that, you can see a little bit of gameplay. But we'll probably have to wait into the future to see some proper gameplay and see some of the mechanics. But so, what we know is that People Can Fly, which is a subsidiary company of Epic, are heavily involved in this. They're the developers of Bulletstorm, and they take a slightly different approach to things, but that's not to necessarily worry, because what Rod has said is that everything about the campaign in particular was initiated by People Can Fly with reference to Epic, but Epic still have had a large input and a larger input on the multiplayer side of things. So it's not necessarily going to be completely changed, and he specified that there's definitely still third-person shooter, it's still cover-based and everything like that. And he said that Epic are making sure that it's still going to feel like Gears. Now, what he did say is that whenever you grow a franchise, there's always a certain feeling of betrayal, and if there isn't that feeling from the core fans, then that actually means that you're doing something wrong, because you're not changing it enough, you're not changing the series enough, and it might become stale. So even though there's going to be this small feeling of betrayal, that's what he thinks people might feel about some of the changes to the system. But that now that they've abandoned the story of Marcus Phoenix and they're looking at a different aspect of the story, they've got the opportunity to change the franchise and make sure that it's not stale, and they've got the opportunity to try new things. But what he did say is that, yeah, even though it's done by People Can Fly fundamentally in the campaign, it's not totally changed, and especially that people who love Gears 1 are going to find a lot more about Judgment that they like, in terms of that there's going to be a lot of over-the-top action, and there's going to be a lot less cinematic scenes, a lot less walk and talk where it's all scripted, and that people who love the campaign feeling of Gears of War 1, that's what they're trying to recapture in the Gears of War Judgment franchise. So basically they're trying to get the best of both worlds, and with Epic controlling more of the multiplayer, then hopefully that's what we'll get, and we won't get a watered down version, which a lot of people are fearing about. So as people predicted, Judgment is a prequel. It's 14 years before Gears of War 1, focused around Baird and Kilo Squad, which is a new squad, and they're standing trial because they've transgressed against the coalition of governments, which obviously, as you see in the extended trailer, they're accused of desertion, cowardice, theft and treason and everything like that. It's set at Havlo Bay, which is meant to be home of the Onyx Guards Academy, a kind of like military city feel. There are militia everywhere, and yeah, of course it was hinted at PAX East, but everyone thought it was going to be DLC for this Gears of War, but it turns out that what they were hinting at was probably this Gears of War Judgment, which is obviously going to be centered around Baird, because apparently, according to Rod, he's the most beloved male character and the second most beloved character after only Anya. So they did a poll and found out that everyone loved Baird. With Cole having the locker room scene in Gears 3, Dom's got his Maria closure, Marcus and Anya's story are completed. They're focusing around Baird because he hasn't had much character development, unfortunately, and he's one of the most loved characters, so we've got that to look forward to. Now, on the multiplayer side of things, you might have heard by now that there is some kind of class system based multiplayer in Gears of War Judgment, but there's no need to necessarily panic about this, because Rod did specifically say at the E3 conference that the Overrun mode, which is the mode everyone's talking about, is only one mode, one game type out of the many game types that there are going to be. So presumably there will be some kind of classic Gears or normal style, what we expect from Gears of War 3 and Gears of War 1 kind of style without classes. But the Overrun mode is their flagship mode, so that's what they're all talking about. But he did mention that there are multiple modes, so I wouldn't get too worried about that if possible, and I'm sure there will be more information coming out confirming that there will be other modes. And what they will specifically be. But as for the Overrun mode, there's lots of information on the Game Informer website, and I've linked that down below. Overrun consists of 2 timed rounds. In the first round, you'll be either the offense-based Locust or the defense-based Cog, and then you swap over. So each team gets to be each side once. When you're the Locust Horde, you have to be aggressive. You have to breach 2 sealed emergence holes in sequence, then destroy a Cog power generator. And each time you complete an objective, you get new spawns, and you get more time towards the objective. So the scoring's determined by how many objectives are completed by the Locust, with a maximum of 3 points awarded if they manage to do all the emergence holes and then destroy the generator before the time runs out. The Locust characters rely on their natural abilities and their diversity, whereas the COG classes rely on their technology. There are soldiers, mechanics and scouts, and they have to interact on the battlefield, otherwise each one of them might not have the diversity required to handle all the situations that can be thrown at them by the Locust's differing abilities. Now, the guys over at Game Informer played that for several days and they were very impressed by it and said they foresee it becoming the premier game mode for Judgment. So go check that article if you want to see more. But let's look at some of the classes. Alright, so we've got Baird. Obviously he's the sarcastic genius mechanic, and before he went to help Marcus Phoenix save the world, he worked his way up through the Gears ranks, and in Gears of War Judgment he's a lieutenant. Now, he's an engineer class in the Overrun game type. He starts with a Nasher and a Blowtorch, and yeah, I know that Scorcher isn't a Blowtorch, but it's the closest thing I could get. And then he's got a special ability of a sentry turret. So I'm not sure whether the sentry turrets are going to be able to be placed anywhere, or whether they're in certain positions like they are. Oh, hello, like they are on Horde mode. But yeah, he can place some kind of sentry turrets. Then we've got Cole, obviously the Thrashball player turned soldier, Coltrane. Obviously famous for screaming "Woo!" Yeah, he's got Lancer and Boomshot. So he spawns with a Boomshot, which is quite interesting. I'm not sure, maybe it won't have many shots, so it might be slightly weaker, I don't know. But his special ability is the ability to deploy ammo crates, and he can actually toss ammo to the engineer to top up the engineer's Blowtorch ammo. The engineer being Baird, of course, and the engineer's Blowtorch is something which can repair damaged fortifications. So it looks like they've overhauled the whole money system in Horde, and they've changed it to more of that you've got to have teamwork